This is really difficult music. It's not only is it emotionally deep, but technically it's difficult to sell the ideas without being bogged down by the texture that Brahms gives us. Now I think with Brahms especially, he's such a storyteller. I always think of literature, especially poetry, when I think of Brahms. He finds this way to weave this story that it's just so meaningful. It almost sounds like someone is speaking with the words when it's played well. And there's something really poignant about this middle section where we end up in F sharp minor, right? Compared to the beautiful A major that we start in. And that relationship between A major and F sharp minor, it's related by a third, right? It's very chromatic, it's deep and it's dark. And we get the opportunity to bring something out really meaningful in this section. For me, the way that I hear this music, I hear some kind of a pain. And Brahms wrote this late in his life, so perhaps he's thinking back to something earlier in his life that kind of rehashing some of these feelings. So we have to find a way to really put ourselves in Brahms' shoes, which is difficult to do, and somehow try to speak to our audience and tell them about this really deep, dark pain that we've experienced. So kind of tying those things together, when we talk about literature and poetry especially, when you hear someone read poetry really well, they can communicate so much with just their pauses and the way that they emphasize different words. So maybe we can pick a phrase for this section, starting from something like maybe, you hurt me, right? You can say it one way where you emphasize hurt, but you can say, you hurt me. Or you could also say, you hurt me, right? There's many different ways to say that. And the reason I'm using one phrase is because notice how he decides to start every single phrase here. Look at the very beginning, the pickup note to this section. What note do we start on in the melody? Right here, yes. We start on C sharp, right? In all of these other phrases, we also start on C sharp, right? It's a pickup note to here, and it's also the pickup note to this beautiful F sharp major section. And then also, once we have the rehashing of this, it's the same thing. It's C sharp every time. So he's saying something special with the C sharp, right? And so each time you hear the C sharp, it has to be different somehow. So notice in the first time we do it, can you start from the spot where we go, and then play into the B section. Don't give all of it away, right? We've just had this beautiful, right? It's just such beautiful, heartwarming music. And then all of a sudden, the clouds are kind of darkening over our vision, and we hear. Right? Something a little bit more inward thinking, right? Don't give everything away. Can you try that from the beginning of that? A little bit softer, less emotional. Yes, yes. Good. And then right there where you just stopped, notice the difference here. In the score, it's an eighth note now instead of a quarter note. So it needs to move a little bit more. So we can go and then straight into it. Right, can you try that from here? Take a breath and go. Yes, yes. Good. And I loved how you brought up this inner voice, this. What's the relationship between those two? In the top voice we have, and in the middle voice we hear, what do we call that? There's a term that we use. Say it one more time. Yeah, the middle voice, yeah, but we also might call it a canon, right? Where the voices they're overlapping, but they're not happening at the same time. And so I want to go on to this next section. Can you play from the second repeat, starting back where we just left off? Bring out the middle voice again, and then go into that next section, and make this C sharp going into this. Make it meaningful. Say something different with it. absolutely otherworldly. It's like, imagine yourself like in the most magical place in the world where you hear. And keep the music moving. I know it says più lento, but we have to keep the music moving because we have a lot of ground to cover here. So keep it moving. Try that one more time from just the pickup to that measure. There's also a canon going on here, right? We have in the top voice, and then in the bottom voice we have as well, right? So we want to hear that. So don't accent. Just play the notes. Create an atmosphere. Can you try that once from there again? The middle voice is taking the lead. So we want to hear not so much the top voice. Can you try that once from here? Yes, less top voice. Right there, we can take more time. You go. This is the big outburst that we've been waiting for. Can you try that once? You tell us a story from the beginning all the way until the end of the section, and then you can tell us even more once you go back to the A major. All right, thank you so much.